As we've seen on this show, all kinds of people can find success. Did you know that 34% of tech professionals don't have a bachelor's degree? Skills-first hiring isn't just inclusive, it is the smart strategy to expand your tech talent pipeline. And finding the right tech talent isn't just hard, it's mission critical. And yet many enterprise employers still rely on outdated methods or platforms that just don't deliver. In today's market, hiring tech professionals isn't just about filling roles, it's about outpacing competitors. But with niche skills, hybrid preferences, and high salary expectations, it's never been more challenging to cut through the noise and connect with the right people. And that's where Indeed comes in. Indeed isn't just a job board, it is your tech hiring partner. As the number one site where tech talent applies to jobs, Indeed gives you direct access to over 3 million U.S. tech professionals, 86% of whom have applied through the platform. So post your first job and get $75 off at Indeed.com/tech talent. That's Indeed.com/tech talent to claim this offer. Indeed, built for what's now and what's next in tech hiring.
In America, half of every dollar spent on brand medicines goes to entities who don't make them. While middlemen like PBMs and 340B hospitals drive up costs, Biopharma is investing $500 billion in new infrastructure and manufacturing here at home, and helping patients buy medicines directly at lower prices. Tell Washington to end middlemen markups and put American patients first. Visit phrma.org/middlemen.
Hello and welcome to an out-of-this-world snack-size edition of our show, How Success Happens. Hey there, I'm Dan Bova, a writer and editor at entrepreneur.com. Thanks for tuning in. So, raise your hand if you wanted to be an astronaut when you were a kid. Now, I can't see you, but my hand is raised, and I'm going to assume that most of your hands are raised too. And I bring this up because today is the last day of November 2025. And did you know that this month marked the 25th anniversary of human beings conducting research floating around on the International Space Station? That's right, the first crew arrived on November 2nd of 2000. And since then, NASA and its partners have conducted thousands of research investigations like building stuff and growing food in outer space. And they're doing this in order to, as NASA says, advance exploration of the moon and Mars and benefit life on Earth. That all sounds awesome. So back in 2020, I got to speak with someone who not only knows a lot about space exploration, she actually is a space explorer. Tracy C Dyson is a NASA astronaut who flew aboard the Space Shuttle Endeavour and has lived and worked inside the International Space Station. She's been there multiple times. Her most recent mission involved a 6-month stay on the ISS in 2024, and all in, Tracy has logged 373 days in space, which includes over 23 hours over 4 spacewalks. I cannot imagine. If she was wearing a Fitbit, her step counter must have been like, what the hell is going on? So anyway, I started off by asking her basically what I just asked you. I mean, most people say they wanted to be an astronaut, but what's the difference between someone who is like a dumb kid like me is like, I'm going to be an astronaut, and someone like her who says, I'm going to be an astronaut, and then becomes an astronaut?
It takes a little bit of determination and stubbornness, and I think you have to be flexible for sure, because there's no guarantees you're going to make it into the astronaut corps, but if you have any desire at all, then I think you got to see where the path takes you, and there's no direct line, there's no one thing you can do to get in, and it rewrites itself every selection process. You really just got to, I think, pursue what you love doing and keep applying, and that's the rest is up to God.
So I asked Tracy, because I don't think I'm going to be sitting in a rocket ship anytime soon, is there anything that us normal people can experience here that comes even close to what it's like to be sitting on a rocket ship as the engines start to kick in and things start rumbling and you're about to be lifted off into outer space? Is there anything like that we can experience here on Earth? And her answer was pretty predictable.
Gosh, Dan, I hate to disappoint you, but no.
Okay.
And I say that only because when I was on my first mission and sitting inside the rocket, and I remember thinking that moment, there is nothing like this. You know you're going somewhere when that much thrust slaps on the concrete trench and bolts explode and you're coming off of the Earth. There's nothing like it.
So, maybe you go to the top of the Empire State Building, or you've been to the top of the Eiffel Tower, or you stood on the edge of the Grand Canyon. You look out and it's just mind-blowing, awe-inspiring. Maybe you got teared up. It's just an amazing experience. But what's it like to look out the window and see not a lot of the Earth you haven't seen before, but all of the Earth sitting outside your window? What is that like?
I was one of the first people to get out of the seat and look back at the Earth, because it was my job to film the external tank that had just separated and was falling back to the Earth, and it was my job to film that. But it was very technical, very fleeting, and I didn't really absorb the grandeur of the Earth in those moments for all the technical things I had to do. But then on orbit, once we were docked to the space station and had been working a few days there, my commander, who was Scott Kelly at the time, he carved out an entire orbit, which is roughly 90 minutes. And he made arrangements for the 3 rookies on the flight, myself included, to sit in the windows and undisturbed of the shuttle and just gaze out the window for an entire orbit to see a sunrise and a sunset. And was some of the most emotional moments I've ever had in my life.
Wow.
Just soaking that view in and realizing that how privileged I was in that moment. And when you realize that, how much more amplified your search for things are up there. You're just looking at the Earth and you're like, how do I describe this when I get home? You're looking out at the vastness of the space and you're like, what? How far can I see? And you're just 1,000 things are going through your mind.
Wow.
Amazing.
That's amazing. And do you want to confirm once and for all, the Earth is round, right? It is not indeed flat.
Very, very round. Yeah.
Okay.
Very spherical. Yeah.
Very spherical. All right.
I can confirm that.
Okay, good. Okay, so for Entrepreneur, we talk a lot about risk-taking or stepping into the proverbial abyss. But Tracy literally stepped into the abyss on multiple spacewalks. So I asked her, what's that like when you're standing at the hatch that's about to open and you know you are about to step into nothingness?
Yeah, sure. I would say simply put, it's breathtaking. And that's the essence of it. But bear in mind that the first time we do that in our careers, in our life, we are in a pressurized spacesuit about to do the thing that we have trained maybe 8 years to do.
Okay.
And so you've got a technical mind as you're doing all of this. And what you're doing is very critical. And in that you got to be paying attention to what you're doing. You got to pay attention to where your hands are. You got to be paying attention to what your suit's doing. And so as you go out to this environment, you are very well aware of the fact that you are your own little satellite, and there's this fascinating planet below you, and all you want to do is gaze at it because you're just stupefied over.
Yeah.
I remember looking down at my feet and there was the earth in the background, and it was so vivid. Imagine the clarity of looking down, just looking at your shoe right now.
Yeah.
And you see the floor below it. That was the earth. The earth was as real to me as that floor is. And it was like, I know I can't reach it, but it's right there.
Wow.
But at that same time, that was like a split second, because then I had to know where my hand was. I had to put my tether down. I had to talk to MCC, and I had to get a wrench out. It was like really doing work.
So when you go to like an amusement park, I don't know if you do, but would a roller coaster where the rest of us are screaming our heads off, are you like yawning and falling asleep? Like, this is nothing?
No. I'm wrapped up in the thrill of it all.
Okay.
Like anybody who's not ridden a rocket. What I was going to offer that was the closest I've ever come to feeling the acceleration.
Okay, so finally, there was this spate of celebrities taking quick rides to the edge of outer space as tourists. You remember all that? Tracy and NASA astronauts, they're not there for fun. As she's described, it's breathtaking, it's incredible, but they are there to do very important work. So I asked her if she could sum up the overall missions that she and the astronauts and cosmonauts who are spending months aboard the International Space Station are up to. So obviously, thousands of experiments. There's no simple one answer to that, but she did kind of find a through line, and here's how she broke it all down.
It's hard to encapsulate it, but we are exploring space, and it is not just because we're a wealthy country and we got money to burn. It's because there's an environment out there that the more we learn about it and how to get to it and how to live in it, the more that gets returned back into our own life here on this beautiful, gorgeous, privileged planet. And because we have to learn how to live in this awkward environment, makes you appreciate the environment that you have here at home.
Yeah.
You just look at the International Space Station itself. That itself is a global engineering miracle. And to think that's the one thing that when there's geopolitical turmoil here on this very planet, it does not extend within the walls and the community surrounding the space program. I mean, our space program is a global space program, and we as a country benefit from that. And it teaches something about how we should behave here on Earth.
Okay, so that's our freeze-dried astronaut ice cream snack. Do you ever have that, astronaut ice cream? I remember getting it as a kid when my parents took me to the Air and Space Museum in Washington. I can't remember if it was good or gross, but I'm positive that it shut me up from complaining about how my feet hurt. So I'm sure my parents were stuffing bags of that down my throat the whole trip. Anyway, well, if you enjoyed this, first of all, thanks for listening. And second of all, if you want to hear more, please subscribe, give us a star rating, leave our show a comment. We'd love to hear from you. And if you want even more success insights, be sure to subscribe to our newsletter at info.entrepreneur.com/HSH. Breaking down conversations, finding some of the key moments, some key takeaways, posing questions to you, and we'll be reading answers from our listeners on the show, so please check that out. It's a lot of fun. Speaking of fun, you could also check out my Substack called This Should Be Fun for more silliness from me. And as always, if you dig our sweet theme song, check out Nika RPM on Bandcamp. All right, see you next time. Thanks for the listen.
Rinse takes your laundry and hand-delivers it to your door, expertly cleaned and folded, so you could take the time once spent folding and sorting and waiting to finally pursue a whole new version of you. Like Tea Time You. Or this Tea Time You. Or even this Tea Time You.
Said you hear about Dave?
Or even Tea Time You.
So update on Dave.
It's up to you. We'll take the laundry. Rinse. It's time to be great.